It was pandemonium in central London earlier today as thousands of farmers descended onto Westminster, protesting proposed changes to inheritance tax, a death tax, really. Let's call it what it is. So I spent the day with them, and here's what they had to say. Hello and welcome to the largest farmers' protest that this country has seen in recent times. If I can make my way down here, as you can see, tractors 1, 2, 3, 4 deep all the way back down there towards Trafalgar Square. And if we pan around here, look, we've got the famous street here lining Whitehall, jam-packed full of tractors. It's a really nice atmosphere here, I must say. Everyone's incredibly well behaved. They're all coming together. All right, OK. Yeah, there's quite a lot of GB news. Let's get a little bit of this in. Here we go. Fight the tax, save our farms. Hey, come on, why does this mean so much to you?
Well, it means everything to us because obviously we've got the family farm at home. It's just completely taken off since the budget. Any drive to invest or be more productive or anything like that, they're literally penalising us for wanting to expand and grow.
Well, how's this going to impact you going forward? So it's a family farm, so presumably it's been there for a few generations.
Yeah, I'm fifth generation, but you know, why would you invest in a business when on my dad's death they want 20% on it? So every investment we make is adding value to what we've already got. So what's the point?
So you come from North Lincolnshire. Why?
Yep.
Why?
Why? We're obviously supporting farmers. It's about their livelihood. It's about the custodianship of the nation. I don't think people are looking wide enough or far enough. Personally, I'm a contractor. I work for farmers. It's taken away my livelihood. I have a farmer.
So it's knock-on effects.
Knock-on effects. I have a farmer who I'm working for, looking at seriously emigrating with his young family. You know, it's devastating to see.
Just to get the scale of this, it's absolutely unbelievable. You've got obviously the famous cenotaph here, and everyone with these signs on the back of their tractors. I mean, it's a monumental thing. I just want to remind people that farmers do not want to take a day off work. They absolutely don't. This is the last thing that they want to be doing, to have to leave their farms, leave their livelihood so that they can come here and make their voices heard. It costs them money in order to do this. Look at this, a tank's turned up. Fantastic. Can we get our way around here and see if we might be able to find... Is there anyone in this tank? That's what I want to know. Look at that. Tanks a lot, Reeves and Starmer. You've got the Union Jack above it. They are quite literally parking their tanks on Keir Starmer's front lawn here just to try to say, come on, listen to us, you've got your maths wrong, you've got your sums wrong, and it's going to have a massive effect.
Unfortunately, the Prime Minister's woken a sleeping lion, and farmers don't like being lied to. We can only be lied to once, and we won't give up.
They have put 560 odd million, okay, to benefit farmers abroad, to produce food environmentally friendly so they can ship it back into this country to go against our industry as in prices. So it makes no sense. Charity starts at home. Get this government back in British agriculture. You know, we are the people that can produce this food. I went to the Churchill Memorial yesterday into the museum, and I'll tell you something, that man will be turning in his grave listening to what this government's doing.
Here we are. The group of Conservative shadow ministers have gathered here to voice their concerns, as you can see, of Keir Starmer's farmer harmer policy. I'll try and dive in at some point once the pictures have all stopped.
And they've come here again to try to get the ministers in that building behind you to listen, because we know how damaging this family farm tax is going to be to our countryside, but also to our food security and to food prices.
So farming is a big part of my constituency in the Borders, as it is for large parts of the UK, and this tax is going to stop many family farming businesses from passing the family farm on to the next generation.
Well, shall we start by saying, well, you've got a sign with you there?
Got a sign here, yeah. No farmers, no food. That's what it's all about. But it's also much more than farmers, because they're here on behalf of the rural community. But of course, this affects business property relief as well. So there's a family business death tax. So your local farm, could be your local hairdresser, that local farm shop, they're all going to be impacted by exactly the same measure.
What's really crazy about this is that farmers are, I think, unique in the whole country. They typically have millions of pounds worth of assets, but they actually take a return less than 1%. There's no other business in the country that would take such a low return, let alone get up at 4 in the morning.
All right, Harry, so what we've been seeing since you've been stood here, quite a few Conservative MPs lining up, right?
Just to get access to you, really.
Well, don't be daft, no, but you know, you've got a bit of a message to them, haven't you, really? Because they weren't always doing that, were they?
No, I mean, last 5 years they've been sitting there
putting up taxes left, right and centre, making sure that basically it didn't pay to work, and now, they're trying to go up to you and say, we've got an idea and we want to reduce taxes and all that type of thing. Well, you've had 5 years to do that, and they've not changed.
Do you think it's a little bit hypocritical?
Massively.
Well, I wonder whether or not the people in that House of Commons over there today can hear all of these farmers. Look at that. What a wonderful sight it is to see how many thousands of people have turned out to back British farming. Downing Street's halfway down that road. If Keir Starmer's in there, I'm not sure he can ignore this. I've been Patrick Christys reporting from the farmers' protest. I'd like to thank Archie for lending me his hat as well and say, look, the weather might be a bit miserable here, but that's not going to put this lot off, is it? Start with an apology. The 12-year-old lad who lent me his hat was called Arthur, not Archie, so my fault. Thank you very much for watching, though, Arthur. I'm joined now by the former Labour MP, Sean Simon. Sean, thank you very much. Great to have you on the show. Look, those farmers can't all be wrong, can they? This is a death tax. Labour have got the numbers wrong. Just do the decent thing and U-turn, right?
You had a whale of a time there, didn't you? Absolute whale of a time. I've never seen a man enjoy himself so much on television, I don't think. And it looks like it was a great event. It looked like it was a great event. Yeah. And clearly, like some farmers are gonna, are gonna pay more money for this, and there'll be a small number of farmers who are, who really are adversely impacted, and for whom will be a problem. And farming is such an emotional thing. It's so much more than a business, which is what this is all about, and why farmers have this very, very favourable tax treatment in the first place. I mean, that's the thing that always comes to my mind in these discussions is, everything that you say about the farmers, it's true of the family who 4 generations have owned a steel fabrication plant in West Bromwich. It's exactly true of them, except they already are paying massively more inheritance tax than farmers are.
I'll just put this to you, how favourable is it, right? Because I speak to those people, they're up at the crack of dawn every single morning, every single day, slaving away, come rain, sleet, shine, whatever it is. Absolutely hammering it to put food on our tables. And a lot of the time, those farms, they've got big assets, lots of land, fine, but actually they take precious little for themselves as a salary. So are we not literally biting the hand that feeds us? And just as a second question, I'll let you answer both of these, of course. Does it not play into the notion, really, that Keir Starmer and this current crop of Labour MPs are actually the quotes-unquote metropolitan elite? They don't really understand the way the countryside works.
So let me answer your second question first. My answer to your second question is yes. I mean, yes, it does. Right. It plays into that notion, and that's why it's bad politics. That's why I think, in retrospect, even though I do think it is fair to make the tax treatment of farmers still massively more favourable than all other small businesses, but not quite as favourable as it was. I do think that is fair, but I think it was a mistake. For the amount of money that it raises, it's not worth the extent to which it reinforces that sense that Labour is the party of the city that doesn't really understand the countryside. I was a Labour MP for cities, but I live in a farming community where my family is from. I can walk to family farms owned by cousins in 2 different directions in 20 minutes. And I understand how people feel, and you're absolutely right that there is a disconnect. The problem for people in the countryside, and the problem for farmers in that respect, is that not a lot of these people voted Labour, or not a lot of these people usually vote Labour, and they don't have the capital in the bank today when it comes to that relationship.
So do you think, sorry, I'm going over time here, but I think it's a really important point, because what a lot of people might have heard there, Sean, is that because they didn't vote Labour, they're going to get clobbered by Labour.
I don't think it's quite that simple. I was giving a more nuanced answer to your quite nuanced question. Right. Does Labour really understand the countryside? And I think that Labour, for a long time now, does have a problem because it represents cities and heavy industries, and because of all the history of where it's come from, because it doesn't have a history in the countryside, it doesn't really understand what's important to country people.
Well, we'll see. Sean, can I just say a massive thank you? Always great to have you on. Much appreciated. Sean Simon there, former Labour MP.